middle at all, where if you get a 2 versus 2 scenario, Rhymeister gets a single kill, the guy just snowballed out of control. Avoid that area completely, or spend your entire time in Jiv's jungle and kill him, not be Elise and meet in the middle.
Yeah, well, it does seem to be somewhere that they might need to focus. Trundle going to be the first ban here as we hop into Champion Select, ladies and gentlemen. Sin removing that one once again. Quinn being removed as well. Looks like we are going down similar path to these bans, maybe reverse just a little bit. We'll see whether Trident do actually react with some more focused bans. Maybe the LeBlanc actually leaves the table here and Rhymeister has to once again mix up his options. Malphite actually going to be banned away here this time around from Sin.
Banned on the blue side, so of course not giving the counter pick away.
Yeah.
For their top laner here, Pac-Man, to maybe put Chippies into a bit of a concerning situation. One thing to note is they've now shown they are willing to play Orianna.
Yeah.
So if you give them Malphite Orianna, there's always a way to throw the game. Just how it works in mid-game.
That's a very good point. The Rock will definitely get away into these team fights, and there may not necessarily be a monsoon to get everybody out of there. As Graves actually going to be banned, so Sin not wanting to first pick that one up for Juves, wanting to grab a different option there as Gangplank was removed next for Trident. We'll see what they round out the bans with. Lulu, of course, available. Lysandra there as well, which was first picked on the side of Trident last time around, and Lulu is the one that's going to hit the bench. So Chippies now with his first pick. And Tahm Kench, no time wasted, of course, left up. They will grab that one away.
Not a surprise to see them pick up the Tahm Kench. Can be flexed if it comes down to it. So all in all, a good first pick choice here for Sin Gaming. I'm still going to just touch on it very briefly. Ryze is available.
Yeah.
Maybe pick that champion. If they don't go towards that, you may see the Alistar Lysandra as probably one of the best secondary drafts, red side first pick. If they don't go for that, I'm not sure where the direction's going to be. You would have to wager they pick up a support player and they go for the jungle option. Being on red side, they could always look towards giving Impaired a flex pick and a countered pick, but not often will you see a jungler get that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, of course, Rek'Sai, the comfortable option there. Of course, both Juves and Impaired have played that one. Elise now being hovered. It's Pac-Man yet to decide on anything. Alistair, of course, makes a lot of sense for Jake, and we already mentioned that Alistair would be a better option if they want to run these sort of Orianna-type team comps. And that does look to be the combination, so... Oh, no! Thresh, last minute, going to be locked in here.
Interesting. So they do pick the Thresh up, taking it away from Rogue, to be fair, who is an absolute monster if he gets Thresh. Worth considering.
The word one trick has been thrown around.
Has been, but we've seen success now on the
right.
Alistar. So
damn right. He's
definitely
proven himself. Proven himself, most definitely. But you can see Rhymeister hovering the Riven. Not entirely sure whether that one is going to be locked away, as Juves has the Zac and is going to lock it in. So the Oceanic special, something that everyone's been a bit outspoken about, as there's the Callista locked in. So Addition not going to be able to pick up one of his comfort champions as well. The Desk were very adamant in saying that would be a decent option. BMA hovering the Yasuo now as well.
Might revert back to something along the lines of the Victor. Comfort champion for him. God forbid he goes for the Twisted Fate that I am perfectly on board with.
Interesting.
Difficult to execute into a Tahm Kench Zac though, and look at the drafts that they've got so far here, Sin.
Yeah, there's a lot of tankiness.
Unbelievable what they've got so far as a 3-man. Not only have they taken away the Tahm Kench from the board, they've taken away the Callista from Addition, and really they've got a Thresh in response here, Trident away from Rogue, but I'm saying it's a net gain potentially for Sin and what it's worth.
Yeah. Trident have set up the potential for a decent pick combination here. As Addition thinking about the Vayne into the Callista is going to be locked in here, as Mundo is what BMA switched to. So Pac-Man looks to be playing that one in the top lane. You're going for a big burly guy up there to take on the Fish.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of killing happening in that lane, I have a feeling.
Deep down, I just wish they had picked Poppy in their last rotation here, Trident. Given that to Pac-Man. Had some merit to the composition. Because honestly, if Sin lock in either Alistar or Poppy, and their mid laner is LeBlanc again, it's just, that's a team comp.
That dive potential would be disgusting, Rusty.
That works too.
Yeah, there's a Yasuo picked up here for Rhymeister. So BME now with the counter pick available. Aurelia being considered. Bit of a shout out to Chippies there as well, of course. Very accomplished Aurelia player. This is interesting. This is very interesting.
This is just Jake trolling Pac-Man and or Chippies.
Yes.
Looking for their mid laner here, Trident, with their last pick option. Of course, we mentioned the Twisted Fate, we mentioned the Victor. All possible. Going back to the Orianna, another option for BMA. Loves his control mages.
Difficult to play the Orianna into the Yasuo, though, just with the wind wall being such a problem for that champion.
And just Zac in general.
That's true.
And this is the real big burden here that BMA has to deal with, is high-ranged engage tool. Basically guaranteed to get something on you if you don't burn a summoner spell, depending on your positioning. And even then, Orianna presents a very real risk into a Yasuo Zac.
Well, it is going to be picked up here. BMA once again going back to comfort. We'll see how he goes in this particular matchup. We'll be able to harass from range quite nicely, I guess, early on, but it is a difficult matchup.
So they've made some changes here, Trident, with the team comp. They've got better, not going to say better engage, it's more pick-oriented.
Yeah, lots of pick power.
They've got Vayne to complement their damage output with that pick. They've got a very big front line in the Mundo and potentially Impaired looking at his build path. I'm going to say it's a bigger brick wall to help deal with BMA in addition deal with Sin overall, but the immediate response here from Sin Gaming is just tank, 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 front line, and a Kalista who sits just near the front line and throws your cow back at them for more front line. Hyper tanky, hyper aggressive bruises.
And all of the CC available here as well. I mean, even the ultimate out of Yasuo going to be able to hold people in the air for a long time. So much of an opportunity to get that last breath off as well, as he's going to be around so many different knockups. Let's Bounces there. The Pulverize going to be available once again from Rogue, who showed that he's a great Alistar player. Looking dangerous on the side of Trident, but if they manage to get their comp together, things may work out. Of course, if you believe that Sin can take this 2-0 victory, use that hashtag SinWin over on Twitter. If you believe in the game number 3, then use that hashtag TryWin and send your thoughts out to Trident, looking to try and get their way back into this series. It'll be difficult because I have a feeling that once again, Sin, their draft looks fantastic.
Yep.
And we'll see exactly what Trident can do utilizing this team comp this time around, whether something's going to change.
Yeah, Trident need to show a lot of experience here on a new roster to actually give it to Sin one more time. Put them under pressure. That means they're looking towards Impaired and BMA to really be the rock of this team. And you would have to say one more time that Impaired needs a good start and may need to rethink his strategy coming into Juves in this jungle Zac.
Yeah, well, Impaired already in position now. Sees 4 members of Sin moving towards that top side of his jungle. Just puts a ward down. He's going to be able to move back. Pac-Man here as well, but Sin is going to be mirroring this time around, grabbing that deep vision. Yeah. Vayne already in the top lane. So we'll see whether he decides to recall.
Trident not actually responding to it with any deep vision of their own. Actually very defensive and neutral vision from these guys, as they've already got their AD carry sitting in that top lane with Addition there.
Yeah.
Not spotted from any of the wards at all. And Sin are going to be none the wiser in that aspect. Which also means that Pac-Man should be going to join his jungle duo buddy now with Impaired. But really, I don't know what they're doing. They're just waiting.
Yeah, interesting
for
stuff.
wards to potentially die.
But is going to mean that the lane swap is successful here for Trident. Addition going to have some free farm up against Chippies, who has his jungler all the way over the other side of the map. And Chippies may actually get denied a whole lot now that they have missed out on this double jungle option.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty rough for Chippies here. He's just going to get zoned, and generally the advantage will go to the Mundo just from getting experience. You can see immediately Trident's response. Jake can go get deep vision, look towards that blue buff, placing some wards and denied, but Chippies is already here.
Yeah, Chippy's going to spot Jake moving into the jungle. Some giggles to come out from the Thresh, as Sin now pushing quite far up this lane. May not have quite enough members to fast push this one.
No.
But Kalista and Vayne, both of them not with a whole lot of fast pushing power early on.
So I don't think they're looking to fast push. Honestly, I think they're just getting it to the turret to deny as much as they possibly can. Usually if you're looking to fast push, you wait for the second or third wave by having it freeze and then push in with a massive minion stack. Instead, they've just put it straight to the turret here, Sin. Taken all the farm off the board, looking to get it to reset. Maybe freeze again in the future, but it's about denying here from Pac-Man.
Well, Chippy's dodging a bullet now as well by exiting this lane very quickly, as 4 members of Trident were there. You can see Rymeister already commanding some respect here in the mid lane. Ignore the miss of that cannon creep, please.
And that one.
Oh, just
Not watching.
Oh, nice wind wall.
Denies a cannon of his own, so we'll put him back to even.
Yep, no one can have
And impaired.
Yeah.
Wind wall's not available. Keep that in mind.
On cooldown, but there's the exhaust. Flash has to be used from BMA as Rymeister. He's burning to death. There's the flash cocoon. Nice flash out of Rymeister. Going to get him to safety. So all summoner spells down for these mid laners, but that's with the help of Impaired.
And actually an extra summoner has to be used by Impaired to look for the kill.
True.
So works out as I guess a net gain of a very minute amount here for Sin. Rymeister with that pressure on Yasuo coming up trumps.
You can see it has turned into a push here on the top side. 3 minutes and 50 seconds as that top outer turret is going to fall in favor of Trident. So already off to a decent start as far as that global gold is concerned. Cardred soaks a cheeky turret shot and they are going to even out those turrets very quickly.
Yeah. Sin, again, we mentioned focusing much more on that denial of farm away from Pac-Man, but all in all, it works out relatively even as Chippies and Jews are going to share the gold here once they let that last one die.
Yeah, it's holding onto this wave here as well. That one will potentially reset. Rymeister though, back into the lane. More than happy.
Didn't recall.
Yeah. As the flow built up, man, you know, it's a lot of extra shield. Should be A-okay. Oh, nails it. Stabs that cannon creep in the face. Beautiful stuff. Sin in position around Impaired.
Impaired's level 4 with a farm advantage.
Oh, walks straight into the Pulverize. It's a fair bit of extra damage there as a headbutt comes in. The Ignite's down. He uses the Repel, but Impaired may die here. Stretch Armstrong comes in for it. Grabs first blood. That's going to be Juves picking that one up. So a little bit of revenge from what we were thinking was going to be the weaker jungler this time around.
And of course, that was entirely on the back of the shot calling, just catching him by surprise. Impaired had no idea they were going to be there, and even with the advantage from farm that Impaired had put together, he had no idea they were there, and the combo was just too strong from these guys. Knocks him around. Level 1 Thresh, not going to be able to save his teammate's life, as of course they did use their flashes, both support and jungler, to make sure he died.
And if he had that Lantern, I mean, I have a feeling that would have been a very different story, but you're right, Jake. Not quite up to that level yet.
And Ignite on Rogue, keep that in mind, is what actually enabled that kill at all. Not an exhaust support.
Yeah, well, you see Rymeister still just smacking down these minions here in the mid lane. BMA doing a great job farming. Rymeister able to throw out the wind wall.
Funny thing about that Yasuo wind wall is correct application of it actually brings the minions towards your turret sometimes. Also lets you push much more effectively and denies a lot of damage from minions early in the game on you.
Hey, that's a good point.
Because it blocks their autos as well. Wispy little light bulbs that they throw at you.
Yeah, and they do a fair bit of damage. Those caster creeps, especially in the early game.
They attack fast. It's like 12 a hit though.
Builds up. But Impaired now going for a bit of a counter jungle here towards the bottom side. See whether they actually get some pressure in this bottom lane. Sin, after that first blood, do manage to pick themselves up a slight lead, but it's only about 300 gold. Trident still more than happy.
Yeah, Trident almost came out ahead from it. They've got more farm on their top lane of Mundo here in a comfortable position. And more farm was going to be on Impaired, their jungler. But if he didn't get caught out of position, you would say Trident would be ahead. Sin with the clever rotation, put themselves back in it.
Yeah, Rymeister getting a lot of damage out onto BMA. The Ignite goes down once again. As the Q doesn't land, but in goes Juves. There's the ultimate, and that's the instant destruction of the mid laner of Trident. Nicely played by Sin, as Impaired just a little bit too late.
We mentioned this in the drafting phase. Pac-Man 2 levels above, he's going to put some hurt on a Chippies here as well. But again, that middle lane, what is an Orianna to do against the Zac and a Yasuo combination? The answer is nothing but die. Because every single time, if you are there without your summoner spells available, you're not going to have a good time.
And that's the thing that's so scary about this
just
Sin lineup as well, is the dive potential. They've got Unbreakable Will there, so Rogue can dive with impunity.
Yep.
Not to mention Juves with his passive.
And a Tahm Kench.
And a Tahm Kench.
To eat the person who was tanking in the first place.
Yeah, making anyone able to dive, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Rymeister to compliment, keep that in mind. Can follow up very nicely.
Yeah, and also that... Oh, yeah, there it is. So BMA getting denied.
Keeps the wave frozen as well in the perfect position.
Yeah.
That's a 3 minion wave stack, which is ideal.
Exactly right. I'm looking at this now and I might play some Yasuo later. Don't worry, I won't. I won't. Yeah, my producer in my ear saying, please don't, Max.
Yeah, I'll probably disconnect.
He doesn't want me really, really sad coming into tomorrow.
Again, Sin pressuring this middle lane. It's the easiest one, like, weirdly enough to say, easiest lane to get kills right now. Zac is the best at ganking mid. Mind you, Juice looks like he doesn't really...
Yeah, Jake actually holding on to the death sentence now. The flayback is going to work, but massive pulverize from Rogue as he finds his way in. Last breath comes down as well. Jake in so much trouble. Decent shockwave out of BMA, but Rymeister deletes him. Pac-Man now right in amongst this fight. He's got the ultimate running. Not a lot of ignites available now as well. And Sin, they'll grab the pick and they'll get out.
It's just that easy for a team with this many tanks. As head as Pac-Man might be, it's not going to be ahead enough to live through any combinations or even let his team live through any combinations in this case. As Sin, they run the Zac Yasuo successfully one more time.
And Rogue just looking so good on this Alistar as well. Another 3-man pulverize to start that one up. We are going to see it again.
The damage is well and truly there. They've got all the knockups to complement. Beamer has to flash, hits the shockwave, but Rymeister dodges it. Wind wall's down, so Sin, they look to disengage pretty much immediately. So easy for them to do.
But against the tide, Trident are able to pick up that dragon on the back end. Now Kadra just farming here on the bottom side. Big minion stack here for this Kalista, who's already ahead in farm over the Vein of Addition. Going towards that Blade of the Ruined King. Would normally say standard stuff. Has switched around a little bit with the old Vayne builds recently.
And I mean, at this point in the game, what do you look towards as the positive here for Trident? Honestly, the only thing is the Mundo.
Yeah.
And every single time they try and run a skirmish here, Trident, I feel like they fall further behind into this trap. And that comes down to their drafting. It all came down to that champion select for this early game to be where it is. They're looking for a late game team fight here. They're trying to bridge themselves towards the later stages where Mundo's unkillable, as we're looking at two minions staring longingly into each other's eyes.
Oh, it's
unrelenting and unwilling to die.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Even one of them has a health bar.
A little bit of Shakespeare going on the bottom side of the map. But 2,000 gold is what the damage is going to be. As you can see, Rymeister dominating that farm as well. 30 minions ahead. 2-0-0 in comparison to the 0-2-0. Even further in the lead this time around is Rymeister of Sin. And you can see, I mean, Impaired's picked up a few more jungle camps, but Juves is on 1-0-2. He's having a great game on this Zac.
Yeah.
I feel like he really suits this tank playstyle as well, because put your face in it is something that generally works out for the old tank.
Absolutely, and Zac is a put your face in it champion. Works well with chippies. On this Tahm Kench, they can put all of their face in there, and it's a pretty big face if you count Zac as one big blob.
Yep, that's true.
He could probably change the size of his face.
Chippies is mostly face as well if you look at that champion model.
Yeah.
Guy's able to eat a lot of things.
Catfish. Like face fish.
Ah, yeah.
Got him. That was horrible.
Yeah, it was. But Rymeister able to clear out this mid lane. We'll see whether they can get the siege on here. As there's the last breath. It all looks too easy. Gigantic CC out of Sin. There's the wind wall as well, stopping anything. Chippies is hungry for some Mondo. Able to lock that one down is Rymeister. And this is looking gross on the side of Sin, but so good.
And welcome to the Jumping Castle. $2 admission if you were Trident. They get in for free. Destroyed. And they could do nothing. The Shockwave didn't even get an opportunity to go down and even keep himself alive. As Juice starts it, Yasuo comes in there from Rymeister to consolidate, and Rogue comes in as the third member to make sure they're bouncing absolutely everywhere with no response available.
That was ridiculous. Grab the turret there as well as BMA gets his wave held onto him by Jakey. Oh, man.
There's no counterplay to knockups.
Nope.
Not this early in the game. And they're only falling further behind here on the side of Trident. The only thing, again, is this Mundo. The Vayne will scale, the Orianna will scale, but so does the Yasuo, especially when he's 3-0-2, and this is again going to be that Trinity Force build here from Rymeister. I asked him about this, and it's because he goes for the Fervor of Battle as his mastery.
Yeah, okay.
Opposed to going the crit one.
Just thinks that it helps him out a little bit more. You can see Jake is going to discover Sin stealing away the red buff, but not a lot that anyone can do. Rymeister going to lock that one down for himself with an easy Q over the wall. Impaired trying to take that one down, but Juves denies it. Shades of last game, but wearing different colors this time as Sin. They're just going to set up for this top outer turret. Not a lot Trident can do as the standing gold is going to be sucked off the map.
Juves was looking to engage and Chippy's just ate him and said, sorry,
come
man,
on, mate.
get the objectives. Come on.
Oh, that's the counter to Juves over aggression is pick Tom Kench. Well, the Rift Herald is going to be taken here. Only 14 minutes into the game. I saw Juves charging that one up. I'm like, it's Baron time! But no. Only been 14 minutes. You can see Sin playing this one out very, very nicely.
Yeah. So
5,000 gold.
Only going to get worse from here. You would have to think. I mean, we're looking for one skirmish, and granted they have been skirmishes where Trident try and find their way back in. Morello's done for Orianna, so has got a completed first item, but until those Sorcerer shoes are available, I don't know if the damage would be there in the first place. Magic resistance on the top laner. Jungler's a Zac, so doesn't necessarily need it yet, and even Rymeister's got his Mercury Treads. What's a BMA to do?
Yeah, and Impaired's gone for the Runic Echoes here as well, so if he's discovered by anyone, he's just going to explode.
Even the Mundo would explode at this point.
Yeah. Well, you can see Chippy's playing with Reckless Abandon here on the bottom side. All the way up. Not a lot Pac-Man can do just because of the amount of control Sin have. Look at all of the vision, especially towards this top side. Rymeister completely safe at the moment as well as Juves able to smite away that Raptor camp. Immediately grabs himself a ward at the same time as Death Sentence just flies lazily by the big blob.
Even Jake level 5 at the moment on this Thresh. Not having a great time. Without the ultimate available, their opportunities to fight are even less than you would otherwise think. And Juves, once he hits that level 9, I think it's like 3,200 range on the E.
Yeah.
Which is bigger than a Nocturne, I think even level 2 ultimate.
Yeah, no, Zac is silly. That elastic slingshot. Pretty crazy.
It's more like an elastic rocket launcher.
It is.
Catapult, I guess, or trebuchet.
Trebuchet, I like that. Well, looks like Sin setting up for a bit of a siege on this top inner turret. Trident are in place, though, as Pac-Man's making his way forward. You can see Rogue waiting in the brush. We'll see whether this is another opportunity for Sin to grab a decent team fight. Trident, they cannot group up here, as there's the teleport in. Chippies wants to make his presence known.
Trident are finding their aggressive streak here.
Oh, Chippies takes a lot of damage back.
Yeah, Chippy's definitely taking the poke. And Sin, they were over-aggressive to try and get that turret down. Now working on their vision. You would imagine they rotate from here after keeping some pressure, but Trident should not be overextending themselves anyway at this point. Sin not respecting, but they do now.
Yeah, but Rymeister moved over to the mid lane. Does have his flash and exhaust up, so it will be dangerous for BMA to stay in that lane. 167 to the 121. In that mid lane, but you can see Rymeister, I mean, he's right on the clock with that farm. Only 17 minutes into this game. Has the Alacrity enchant built up as well, so he's going to be running quickly around this one. Almost has the Trinity Force.
And we know he is a fantastic late game Yasuo.
Oh yeah, almost carried that game back. For
Very
Sin.
nearly.
Yeah, versus Legacy last week. And you can see he's just having so much fun as well.
And I have to keep addressing this. If Trident's goal is to let Addition carry, but they're struggling in every other respective part of the map, then their bottom lane is never going to carry.
No.
And so they really need to address the focus that they're putting into these games, whether it is now to change all of their attention to that bottom lane, even run teleport on BMA mid, and try and influence the rest of the map. Concede your laning phase and not actually try and fight him with an Ignite Orianna. To reassess their game plan here for early game Trident, but of course we're past that now.
Yeah, 18 minutes into the game, well and truly up to the midpoint. And TRIDENT, they've been good to avoid a lot of these engagements at this point. Of course, it's been a few minutes since that last one in the mid lane. So just trying to sit back, farm as effectively as they can, but it's meant that Sin have complete control over the jungle, and they're just slowly falling further and further behind. Rymeister moving over towards the mid lane. That's a massive engagement as Jake gets destroyed again. Impaired falls down. Addition tagged by the tongue lash.
They're not done.
Yeah, utilizes the ultimate there as Cardred able to get the fate call in as Addition over the backside, not going to get knocked up by the Q. And Sin able to take down this inner turret, and it all just looks too easy when they land these knockups. The first one goes in, and then immediately 2 people are dead.
And it's just a clear-cut advantage here for Sin Gaming. What are you meant to do if an Alistar engages? We know Rogue can. Juice can follow that one up and guarantee his success rate with hitting that elastic slingshot. Rymeister just presses R. Chippies.
Yep, that's a shockwave from BMA, but Chippies not going to take too much from that one as the teleport was in fact baited out from Pac-Man. Big minion wave in the top lane as well for Sin, but they have no teleport either.
And Sin are accelerating the crap out of this game.
Oh, yeah.
You can see Alacrity upgrades on their top and mid laner, and even the Distortion upgrade on Rogue. He's going to be flashing around this map everywhere. It's such a dangerous predicament here for TRIDENT to get themselves back in. I don't even know if they can at all. Baron up in 28 seconds. If Sin take that, it's lights out.
7,000 gold at 19.5 minutes into this game as well. That is massive. As Rogue hanging out here with Rymeister. Rift Herald, see you later, mate. It's been lovely to have you on the Rift.
Baron says, get off my lawn.
Yep. Big man back in town, no house sitting left. Do you reckon he's a squatter, or do you reckon he is a house sitter?
100% a squatter.
Oh, man. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Baron had posterized that kid. It's Baron's land.
It's true. I mean, it could have been his long-lost cousin, though. You don't know.
Nah. I think everyone in the Void's an enemy.
Well, Pac-Man going to be able to pick up at least this wave of farm.
It's almost
Burning
like
Agony helping.
the jail of League of Legends, the Void.
Well, Baron's being pinged right now. Sin. I think they've even started it up. Hanging out around the area as well anyway.
Not yet.
Cardred makes his way over. They have. No vision here for TRIDENT. BMA able to get a ward over there, but it's already down to half health. Cardred, he's stuck it with a whole heap of sticks. Impaired, not going to be able to get over here as there's the shockwave, but no one gets it. In goes the Rend, and it is going to be locked down, so Baron available now as TRIDENT trying to do what they can already. Jake's fallen down. Pac-Man as well gets exhausted and destroyed. Addition now dead. It's a whitewash. Sin able to get all the way through. BMA, the last man standing. Abyssal Voyage, though, from Chippies is going to seal his fate. And BMA runs back to his last remaining turret that he can get to. Even picks up some farm as the elastic slingshot gets Juves in there. He's got the passive, so he'll be fine. And Chippy says, it's dinner time. I'll have an Orianna, thanks.
And Rymeister is so good on this Yasuo, kiting around that fight perfectly. The Baron didn't even get Ren Smite comboed. It went down to 35 health before an auto attack from Cardred secured that Baron. Didn't look like the ideal situation to be in here for Sin, but they make it work, because honestly, watch Rymeister throughout this. He gets out of the pit where he is stuck by following up, out, and just kites the back. The tanks are destroying the front line, but again, you can't stop this Yasuo. Cardred gets free hits because they're focusing him.
Looks very scary to be a TRIDENT fan at the moment, but man, Sin really making it look good right now. And this is the Sin that we wanted, right? Because, look, Sin's draft has been great, and we have spoken up about Sin and their support staff, the fact that Bensel, their new coach who has worked with EULCS teams, they were very vocal about that, and now definitely looking like it's working out.
This is a better Sin than what we saw in Game 2 against Legacy, and they almost beat Legacy in that game. That says a lot about the Sin we're currently looking at. Leaving TRIDENT with 0 options in a competitive game is an impressive feat to say the least.
And I've been so impressed by Juves this game as well. This tank play has been so much better. The Zac looking really good. close to 100% kill participation here as well, as he's looking to charge up another engagement. Of course, Last Breath is there. Any knock-up could spell the end of Trident if they do group up. Nicely, though, they are moving around, but with this inhibitor down, the base broken, it's looking very hard for Trident as they're being split across the defenses.
Yeah, and again, Yasuo. Rymeister with his Trinity Force build just going to split that top lane right now, while the 4 members, the 3 tanks and Cardred, parade their way through the bottom lane in a nigh on impossible to kill fashion.
And I just find it ridiculous because you can't poke out a Zac, a Tahm Kench, or an Alistar.
And Rymeister can 1v1 Pac-Man, 100%.
He could probably 1v2 a couple of members of Trident right now as in goes the engagement. Jake's going to get knocked up. It's a decent shockwave, though, on 4 members here in the bottom lane. The shutdown comes in. That's not a lot of damage left as Yasuo still on the top side. It's a double kill now for Addition as he's finding his way in. But Chippy's just eating people across the rip. You can see Rymeister still just deciding to fight towards the top side, able to get the kill. Might be able to take the inhibitor as well, as he says, all right, team, if you guys want to die, I'll just take the base.
Yes, of course, godlike Rymeister in this top lane as Tahm Kench has to save Cardred from a hook. Unfortunately for them, and very well played from BMA, the shockwave connects. 0-4 BMA, though, on this Orianna isn't going to be able to do enough damage to solo carry the fight. Addition puts in work, and they do get kills. And they no longer have a 0-kill game here. And this, again, we said that Rymeister could fight him. Well, that is glaringly obvious, and you can tell how good he is on this Yasuo, even weaving an auto attack before he presses R.
Yeah, really nice stuff. You saw it in the screen there, though. Addition was able to pick himself up a triple kill. So this Vayne now with a Phantom Dancer in his back pocket as well as that Blade of the Ruined King. Feeling a lot better. 6.1 as well. You get a little bit more of that passive movement speed from the old Phantom Dancer. Feeling a bit better for that item.
2 inhibitors down now, though.
Oh, yeah.
They only really need to focus bottom. And with a wind wall available, will BMA be able to hit that shockwave again and set his team up for another triple?
It's going to take a few more shockwaves like that, though, I feel, Rusty, to get Trident back into this one. The last remaining turret to siege up.
They can just set up pinks. You would hope.
Well, Death Sentence onto Juves. Juves not too worried about that one, though, of course. Still hasn't died. I don't think he's been down to his passive yet either. Is the Cocoon going to go wide from Impaired?
Cardred just needs to be a little bit more careful. They know when members are missing because of the other waves. Just don't get hooked. Don't get caught out of position by an Elise Cocoon. Don't get Shockwave. Play patiently. Top's starting to work its way in. There's a big wave mounting now. And this is where Trident get really on the back foot.
Oh, Chippy's poking with a minion there. Underneath the turret. And Juves has cleared out the vision. We'll see whether they decide to pull the trigger at any point. Death Sentence lands onto Chippies. He's a very tanky member of Sin, though, as the CC is laid quite nicely. Half of his health now down, but Rymeister, he's over the wall. They're looking for the engage. Jake gets knocked up. Massive Let's bounces Rymeister. He really wants Addition, who's going to get shut down by the Rend. Oh, no! Another hula hoop around Pac-Man as he was running out instead of running in. And this is going to spell the end for Trident. In goes Rymeister, who was holding on to that ultimate for quite some time. Pac-Man going to make it back to the fountain, but not going to get executed just yet. He may live to see another day, but his Nexus, it's a different story. Sin going to be able to close it out 2-0 in commanding fashion. 15,000 gold in the end was the lead, 17-3.